Hey chat, how are we doing today? And Diamond, chances are, like YouTube side isn't as popular as Twitch side, so there might be people on Twitch side who just haven't spoken yet. But as far as I know, I think you're the only person on YouTube side. Anyways, I'm just quickly setting up this file before I start the stream. I do need to set some specific settings here. Two. Set the camera in the correct position, and I think I need to. I'll just open this up so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm just setting up the camera for this walk cycle, and I think the camera itself has to be 70 millimeters. So if I pull that back and set the camera so I can just grab this up, and that should be about right. But yeah, as I said, YouTube side's not as popular. Hey, Likely, how you doing? Already spamming those dumpy emotes, I see. And then I need to make a secondary camera. So set this to active, not active element. I want to 3D cursor, Shift D, and rotate right there. Now, if I look through these cameras, they should both be in the correct position. Yep. Alright, now, before I do anything else, I need to set up the rig, what I'm animating. So, why was that set to MC Prep? There was no reason for that to be active. Okay, so I'm going to hide the antenna for now. I don't know why it works on this mod, but it doesn't work on the other one. That's a bit strange. So... don't need the mouth. Don't need the eyes either, because this is one of those cases where I'm just doing the walk cycle and not the blinking as well. And everything else is correct. And I'll leave the rest of those alone for now. So, grab all these and set up. Set that up there. Active, I need active keying set. And then selected bones only. So, either set up keyframes. Actually, there is one more I don't need, and that's the root bone. Almost forgot to get rid of that. Because this character is not moving at all whatsoever. So we've got head, thighs, feet, toes, foot spin. Yep, I think that's everything. Just move that a little bit closer. Alright, so, be a good idea to save this. I built a dolly to move my trailer since it was parked in the wrong direction. Is that a robot? Yeah, the robot's name is Stomp. So, while I'm learning how to do specific things, in this case animation, because these are assignments for a separate website, I'm using the models that they provide for me, so in this case, this particular character's name is Stomp. Also, Likely, you'd probably be the only person in chat who builds their own dolly to move a trailer. It moved 10 feet, then got stuck. Okay, that's kind of funny. Stomp's a good name? Yeah. I think it's just called that because his real defining factor is his legs. So, save as, and set this as round 2. Alright, cool. So, I'll probably need a walk cycle reference in just a moment. Nice and fresh water. Pull that up there. Image editor, and then I need to open a walk cycle reference. Pretty sure it's actually not in resources. I think there's, yeah, just a straight up references folder for this. So, first thing I need to do is just position the feet in the way that I want. So I'll grab the other side first, because that's slightly more annoying to try and get a hold of. Do I think that's probably too wide, actually. Let's move this back a meter. That's... Yeah, that seems about correct. In fact, maybe even just slightly more. Maybe 0.5? Yeah. Since the gravel it's on as unlevel, it easily rolls in, but it's way hard to move out. Oh, so you're essentially stuck in a miniature sinkhole. That's rough. To be honest, I don't know how to animate. If it makes you feel any better, I don't know how to animate either. I am just doing the best I can. Now, 24 frames. Wait, I need to double check to make sure this is... Yeah. Every time. So the reason why this keeps happening, why I have to keep changing the frame rate, is because my blender, like the settings I have, defaults to 30 frames per second because that's what I feel more comfortable working with. But the requirements for the assessments I'm doing is 24 frames. And I keep forgetting to change the frame rate. It's so obnoxious. So, oh, need to make sure I grab both of these. Actually, just all of them. And set that to frame 25. And we should be good to go. Now, it's time to set up some markers. So first marker, we're going to rename this to contact. Set down another one. This is going to be the low pose. 2, 3. Is this correct? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. New marker. This is going to be... Nope. Not that one. I want to rename the marker, please. So it's going to be pass. This is going to be I. And this is... Oh, whoops. For whatever reason, I forget to put down a marker before renaming. 3, and then one more marker, and this is just going to be the other contact pose. I thought for a second there somehow a SpongeBob track made its way into my stream music, and I was about to be very spooked. I posted it in general. Luckily, it only took me an hour to build. Really? Okay, that's pretty neat, actually. I wasn't expecting... Oh, that rolls pretty well, too. Yeah, I wasn't expecting... Like, whenever I hear the word dolly, I think of the 2-wheeled variety and not the 4-wheeled. But that's pretty neat. So, grab all of these. Copy them. Actually, I can just duplicate them. Alright, cool. Got everything in place. Now, these two. Set that in. More specifically, these 2 frames here. I need to copy that. Control Shift V for the reverse. I have a two-wheel dolly as well, but its tires are tubed and dry rotted. That's unfortunate. Have you considered getting non-tube tires for it? Because those things are really helpful. Saved me a lot of troubles when I was transporting fridges. And I only thought about swapping the tires just now. Yeah, I'd probably go for, probably either solid or tubeless, just in general. Personally, I prefer solid, but that's just a me thing. Okay, so the passing is fine. Let's do the high first. Actually, I can do low first, it's fine. These here can both be keyframed, because that's actually the position that I want those to be in. And then I can work from there. So I want to copy this one. Actually, do I want to copy that one? Kind of looks like the one Eggman used as a robot. What, the ship? This thing? I vaguely see the resemblance, but only purely for the fact that it's ball-shaped. Like, I wouldn't say this is relatively close. I mean, I can see where you get that from. So, passing on this one, just need to do that. Oh, whoops. Actually, I just realized that I've probably got these around the wrong way. Yeah, I've definitely got those around the wrong way. Okay, so copy that. Paste that there. Oh, and copy the positions of both of these. Copy that. Paste that. And just quickly fix my mistake there. Clear those out. We should be good to go. And then copy the information for this one. And then Control Shift V. Oh, got that. Sorry, chat. Just need to shuffle down my seat. Wasn't sitting comfortably enough, unfortunately. Now, this one here. This still needs to be on the ground, just rotated. What I do need to do is I need to grab the information from here. Paste that there, but then rotate this up. And then this needs to be... Oh, good lord, what have I done? So I surely didn't grab the wrong one. What the... I'm sorry? Why is this... Okay. Why is this like this? Oh, I know why, actually. Yeah, the reason for that is because I had it set to rotate around this here, the 3D cursor. So now if I rotate this, this works normally. Whoopsies. Oh well, it happens. And then for the high pose... And then this is rotated about as far as you can get. And then the contact... this is rotating the correct direction, yeah? Okay, cool. Never be quite sure with this thing. And then one frame later, Alt R that. So the high pose probably actually just needs to be like that. So the high pose is there. Oh wait, maybe I have this rotated too much. Okay, that looks a bit better now. Mm-hmm. And then here, I still want this to be on the ground. Cool. Now I can copy this information and paste it to the other side. So, all of that, copy it. Control-Shift-M. Actually, I'll just delete all this first. So, Control-Shift-V. Shift-V plus 24. Grab that all minus 12. And then delete those. Okay, it looks a little bit janky, but I think it's just because I don't have the body positions in place yet. So if I... What would cause that series of emotes there, likely? Was it something I said? Negative 0.04. Alt G. Oh. And then copy these. The feet are on the wrong legs. What do you mean the feet are on the wrong legs? And then duplicate this. Made you look? Likely, how dare you? How dare you abuse my trust like this? You really just pulled your shoes are untied in terms of animation on me? Like, how dare you? I can't trust my own chat these days. I think it's a I think it's eventually cool. I'll give it a 19 out of 10. Nice. So maybe the legs aren't wide enough, perhaps? Why? Why are you like this? Okay, let's see this 0.3 again. Okay, so this shouldn't be moving, I don't think. This is definitely not supposed to be moving. So, grab all of these. Control C. Control Shift V. So, the position of that is still 0.3, so this one needs to be changed as well. And then again with the slot. Yeah, I think the walking just needed to be slightly more exaggerated. That is correct, right? Like, I'm not gaslighting myself again, I guess. Why do I feel like it's moving in a strange way? It's not moving to the side. Maybe it's because it's too straight. Maybe either the walk has to be shorter or the body has to go lower. I think maybe the body going lower is probably the best idea. So then I want this to be negative 0.2. Negative 0.02 more specifically. And then on the high, you can just Alt-G this. So copy that, Control Shift V, copy that and paste that there. Okay, that works a bit better. Yeah, I think the head movement was just slightly higher than it should have been for what I'm doing here. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Now we've got the movement going. The next thing I probably need to do is the head tilt movement for whenever the character is moving. So whenever the character... Okay, I need to remember exactly what this is. So whenever the character is pushing upwards to move to the other foot is the side that it pushes down on. So I think at this point probably be pushing towards this side. And then copy that. So that's on the pass. Control Shift B. And then I don't want it to be rotated. Like, I don't want there to be rotation keyframes on this one. So where is... Okay, first of all, these don't need to be here. I can remove these. It's completely unnecessary, and now the rotation. It's that one I need to get rid of. Same for that one, and now this should move a little bit more naturally. Alright, something I do need to do for all this stuff now that I'm here is I want to make all these cyclic. So, should be, yes. And now all of that should be repeating itself over and over again. Yeah, because there was like a little pause between when it went to frame 24, which is the end of the motion, and then going to frame 1 again. There was just that brief pause, and you could really see it in the rotation of the body, and that's just because I didn't have cyclic enabled. Yep, so we've got the rotation on this. Now, when I'm moving, I also want the character to be bobbing up and down. So that's right rotation there, and then here I want this to be rotated X. Okay, OBS, why are you complaining about encoding issues? There is no reason why you should be having encoding issues. Bro? I don't know why OBS occasionally complains that my stream has encoding issues when I'm literally doing sweet FA. Like, I'm doing nothing wrong here. Although, I think I might... Does this character have any modifiers attached to it? Let's have a quick look. Actually, come to think of it, I won't be able to tell, would I? Because the only thing that I can get a hold of is the... Oh wait, no, here we go. Yeah, there is a subsurf modifier? Really? That's definitely subdiv and not subsurf. Because, like, I'm looking at this. Where is it? There's subdiv there. So, if I hit the simplify button. There we go. Hopefully that should prevent Twitch from... Oh, sorry, not Twitch. OBS in general from complaining about what I'm doing here. I know it looks a little bit janky now, but that's fine. Alright, so where was I? Okay, so I wanted this to rotate downwards. Probably a little less than that though, maybe 3 degrees. And then the high, I want this to be rotated in the other direction. So now, if I grab this, Control Shift V, and then copy this, and Control Shift V, and then making sure I have a clean copy of that one for this one here. And now I do want the body to twist a little bit while he's walking. So twisting sort of in the direction of where he wants to go. So when he's throwing his leg out to go, so here, I believe or at least from past, perhaps. But at the very least, I do want this here to be rotated towards the direction that he's walking in. I'm going to say probably around about 5 degrees. And then copy that to the other side. Should be. Okay, so it's just jankily going in that direction. I thought you swore for a sec. I was like, please don't swear at your own live stream. I swear a lot. Like, I'm going to assume that you know of me because of Charles. And to be honest, Charles and I are two very different people in the way that we do our content. So, just a heads up, I will swear here and there, especially if things get a little too frustrating. Okay, so actually I'll probably want the rotation to be... And likely is just glitching out over on Twitch side. Nice. So I want the... Yeah, it just suddenly goes back into there. So the... Wait a minute, I thought I got rid of these. Why are they still here? Go on, shoot. Okay, so I want the location here to be like that, and then pull that backwards. I also swear off. Yeah, off camera, fair enough. So... I swore one time on camera. Yeah, I think I've lost count the amount of times I've sworn on camera, either on purpose or by accident. Wait, here's a better emote. Oh, the smug emote. Nice. So, if that's... Okay, this is going to be a wedge. Now, what if I just... remove these ones entirely? It seems like a weird one to try, but... Oh, yeah, that definitely doesn't work. So it just suddenly snaps back to 0. Yeah, just suddenly from here, just immediately rolls back to 0. So maybe just removing the contact ones might be a better call. I do the same thing in school. I have never been to a school where there wasn't at least one person actively swearing. Okay, it looks good from here. But unfortunately, when it rolls over, it immediately snaps back to... Okay, that's going to be an issue then. Like, I have certainly learned things in school that were definitely not age appropriate, especially from other people. Now, I wonder why... This should be all cyclic already. Double check. Yeah, so it's definitely cyclic, but for whatever reason, the body snaps the position. But you should never see swearing as bad. This is PSA. You should never swear swearing is bad. I think, just like a lot of other things in life, swearing has its time and place. Like, there are some times where I feel it's appropriate to swear. So it does that. And then it doesn't organically move, that's the problem. I think it might be because it's already going into this one here. Strange. Why would it... Okay, I'm going to delete all the Z rotation keyframes to see if I can do this again with a little bit better planning. So that still works just fine. So why would you have issues with me putting the rotation here? Unless I'm rotating the Z a bit too far. Could be the case too. What did I say this one was? Okay, it's about 4 degrees. So, I think the Z rotation here is causing some issues. But the problem is, if I do that, it really flicks its head around. What can Stomp do, Cyclone? Can he fight? Can he punch? Can he kick? What can he do? I'm not entirely certain because I'm not the one who created this character. You're going to have to ask the person who made this character what the lore behind him is. I'm pretty sure he is more qualified to answer that question than I am. So I think maybe low is where I want to set the rotation of Z to 0. But then that's... It seems to be constant. Why is there a constant in here? Hang on a second. Who approved this? I certainly didn't. I didn't put a constant in here. Y'all are seeing this, right? Like, how did this happen? Huh? So why would this do what it's doing? It should have already been the correct... Yeah, it's already Bezier. And yet somehow this happened. So I'm assuming the reason for that is that there's no extra keyframe. So this has to be keyframed already. So then this one also needs to be zeroed. Okay, now it works. Oh, yes, of course. I wasn't zoned out. Yeah, to be honest, I'm like halfway zoned out myself most of the time. Okay, so it should be working just as intended now. Now that I've fixed up that motion, I'm going to exaggerate this movement just a smidge more. So that's -6, that should be just regular 6 then. At least I'm not a crazy fan anymore. Like, yeah, I suppose not. To be fair, I've seen some really insane stuff come out of that particular YouTube fandom. The walking animation is good, though. I'm glad you like it. I think the actual Z rotation is fine. I think he needs to lean more, is what I'm getting at here. So, this one here, I want to probably... Do I want to double this? Maybe. Control-Shift V. Okay, yeah, it's like pulling back way too fast. So, the one that I was rotating was the Y keyframe. So if I remove the Y keyframe there... Okay, maybe just a bit less, actually. So I'm going to set this to 7, and then I'm going to use the movement along the Y-axis to help here. Yeah, so I want the body to shift weight. Probably on passing, perhaps? Also, I just realized those feet are way too high for what I need here. Like, I want this to be fairly close to the ground. Control-Shift V. This one here. Yeah, that's roughly about the reasonable height that I expect. Alright, cool. Now, this one here. Probably on the pass I want to be moving this towards. Yeah. I think. So when it's maybe on the low. So I'm looking at a reference image off screen just to get a better idea of what I want to do with these legs. Now the movement for the head is goes down and then moves off to the side. So yeah. On the low, I want the position to be in the same spot. And then on the pass, I want this to be moved off to the side. So along the y-axis. Okay. It is X then. So say 0.1's way too much, maybe like 0.5? Why does this thing keep spawning in the scale when I never asked the scale? Why is Blender being so silly? So the X location, I want this to be. I want to remove everything except the contact and the pass. Okay, now that's acting a bit strange. Oh, I accidentally removed a whole bunch of keyframes from there, not just the one I was looking for. So, move the X location there and there. Okay, there. Oh, I accidentally. Yeah, so that's an issue. I just keep accidentally removing entire sets of keyframes that I didn't intend to remove. I need to pay just a slight bit more attention to what I'm doing here. So maybe just the highs should be sufficient to remove the stuff from. Okay, yeah, no, I definitely need to... Wait, I only removed the Y location. What am I doing? No, I did remove the X. Okay, never mind. Alright, let's see. Okay, I've definitely messed something up here. This certainly isn't anywhere close to where I was expecting this to be. So I'm just going to remove... Oh, don't want to accidentally delete all of these. So those ones there. Where are those? The only one that I don't need to get rid of is the Z location, because that one's actually important. I thought for sure that moving along the x-axis was the solution to my issue. Maybe the z-axis needs to be more defined. Okay, don't need the pass here. And say, set this back to 7 degrees. Okay. Yeah, the high rotation here. I want this to be slightly more. Make sure I copy all of those. Copy that, Control Shift M. Shift D, 24. It's 12. And then make sure I get rid of all these. What's keyframed on 30? Eh? Oh, sure, I didn't ask for that. Weird thing. So the high is definitely far too much. So let's... Yeah, okay, sure. And then Control Shift V. Nope. Somehow I managed to paste that entire thing. And then I want the lows to be lower. 0.6 maybe. Now I feel like something weird going on there. I'm gonna paste that there and see if it changes anything. Actually, what is this? Why is there locational data for here? There shouldn't be location data here. Didn't ask for that to be there. So, copy everything, Control V. Yeah, okay, I think my brain's just messing with me because I can see the animation end down here. And I think that's messing with my brain just very slightly. So pass. Okay, now I need to edit the feet. So the foot goes down on this frame here. So it slaps down this frame. This is actually supposed to still be rotated upwards, I think. But that should be fine. Now for this low pose, I don't want any rotation on that foot. So, delete that. That's fine there. And then on the pass, I want that to still be on the ground. And then it can lift up. Okay, cool. Copy that. Delete. And then Control Shift D. G. Whoops. Shift D. 24. And now that should be functioning as intended. Okay, nice. I don't know why, but I feel as though the character isn't moving the way that I want it to. Okay, maybe... Alright, I feel as though this is going to be a bit of a weird shout, but I think this is actually supposed to be rotated in the other direction when the foot's down. So instead of the body being rotated towards the push-off leg, I think it's supposed to be rotated away from it. So let's try that instead. So now... Yeah, that is correct, but I think the... What is going on here? Oh, the Y rotation must have been... It's keyframed here. How is it keyframed? Bruh. Also, why is this back? Clear keyframes. And don't bring it back, please, for the love of goodness. So, Y rotation. Okay, now that feels a bit strange. Maybe the rotation of this is too much. Let's try. So, -4 here, and then I want to... Contact's fine. Maybe it's the X rotation that's the issue here. Okay, no, the X rotation's not the issue, it's the Z. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So get rid of that. And that one as well. So maybe the Z rotation needs to be less. Maybe 3? Oh my goodness, how do you keep managing this? Copy that. Control-Shift-V. I don't know how it keeps managing to insert a keyframe for scale, honestly. So why would it... Okay, maybe the X rotation is too much. Are you going to do more tests on Stomp until it's finished? Yeah, more or less. Okay, so I need to definitely half this. Same with the heights. I think maybe the Z rotation is still a bit much. perfect. I'll even half that again. Okay, yeah, I think I probably had this a little too exaggerated. Now, this... 0.03. Many times I have to tell you to stop sticking scale keyframes where I didn't ask them. I thought today was Saturday. I've still got Saturday tomorrow. Today is Saturday for me. What's wrong, Cyclonic? So I'm trying to get this relatively close to looking what it looks like in the assignment images, and it's just not working out as well as I'd hoped. Okay, I'm going to quickly... Can I see the bone paths on this? Okay, so the bone paths are fine. The movement is just the way it's supposed to be. And the Z rotation should be fine. Yeah, but Friday for me, yeah, the fun joys of international time zones, huh? I'm gonna set the Z rotation to high instead of pass and see if that works out the way I intended for it to. So Z, set this to 53. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, it happens though. Such as the joys of learning how to 3D animate. Okay, let's try 9 then. So copy that. Paste that flip. Huh? That should be pasting flipped, right? Paste flipped, and yet it defaults to that position. Why though? Just gonna open this image just a little bit more so I can see what's going on here. Actually, it might be better if I got the human walking reference. Certainly need a better video for this. So, looking at this, the movement, I'm just gonna put this playback speed just a bit slower. It's already slow, but whatever. So yeah, the hips seem to tilt towards the leg, so that's correct. So if this were the low position here and passing, I don't understand why I'm not getting as close as I would like. Is it because the rotations rotational values are off, I'll try resetting them and trying again then. Because the legs, for all intents and purposes, are fine. And yeah, I want to keep the X movement on this. So it's the rotation that's becoming the issue here. So, heading back to this. So yeah, the movement does tend to move towards the side where you put the foot down, so that is correct. And then... maybe the female walk cycle isn't going to be that much more helpful, though. Also, why is she walking like that? That is not like that is a catwalk type of walk. Like that's not a normal way a person walks. But yeah, because that is relatively similar. So whatever the foot is on, I walk like that. Okay, here's the thing, right? But I don't. And it's probably just because I am built so severely different from the average woman. But no, I don't walk like that. Okay, so I need to... a pretty good exercise. Yeah, this is a very detail-intensive one, I'd like to say. For all intents and purposes. Also, every time with you. Go on, get... silly scaling. I can't walk after my 6th shot, though. I walk like that around the 5th shot. Okay. Go off, I guess. Okay, that works a little bit better. What's not normal? Any of this, to be honest. But, I was more referring to the way that this person is walking in this video. Because I walk considerably different from the way this woman walks. I was just like, surely that can't be right. But the exaggerated movements does help. So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. Where'd that phrase even come from anyway? Anyway, so I need to also do the X rotation. So I'm going to do 3 degrees on this side and then probably 4 here. So copy that, Control-Shift-V, and then on the high, copy that, Control-Shift-V. Okay, that's not too bad. I could do some more edits with the graph editor, which would probably be more preferable. So I'm just quickly sorting some stuff out here. So... I think that's fine. Cute guy. I mean, thanks. The robot is pretty adorable, to be fair. I think maybe making it slightly more asymmetric, maybe lifting this up slightly. Thank you for the follow. I believe that's pronounced Janiki. Janiki07, thank you for the follow. Uh, does this need to be any higher, though? Close enough? Well, I mean, if you want to correct me, by all means. Just gonna calculate all the bone paths to make sure that it is showing me accurate information. Yeah. Alright. Now, it's Janaki. Janaki. Fair enough. How are you doing today? And immediately likely just goes all in. Alright, anything you want to talk about, or are you just here to vibe and chill? No judgment either way. Actually, do I want to... I might want to do the X rotation. Vibes, to be honest, fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna... Oh my god, why is the scale back again? How many times have I deleted those keyframes and they just keep coming back? You know what? Can I lock this? It won't let me lock these. No, of course not. That would make things too easy. Browsing the smaller art channels, it's very easy to find people to vibe with that way. Completely understandable. It's always good to find just smaller streams where you don't have to interact as much if you just want to vibe is all. Let's see. X location. X rotation, rather. Oh, that's the wrong one. Whoopsies. So maybe setting this down to 5. It's the past one that I have to get rid of course. And then that past one there. B. And then the heights, I probably want to exaggerate this slightly more as well. Well, the vibes thumbs up. Well, I mean, hey, as long as I'm succeeding at giving the vibes that people desire, then who am I to complain? On the contrary, smaller channels are much easier to interact with too. Yeah, because the people who are doing those streams are generally not dealing with like 500 chat messages a minute. That certainly helps with interacting with the community. So what I have to set to 5 degrees, so I probably want this to be 7. So do that and place that there. You know what's funny, Cyclonic? By all means, tell me. Okay, that is a lot better than it was. I haven't done one live stream, none. I mean, to be fair, live streaming is not for everyone. I can speedrun Parasocial quick as fuck when the view count is at 1. Yeah, I mean, completely understandable. I certainly felt that way when I had a specific streamer, that, or in this case, YouTuber that I used to watch. And he was very much a low follow account, so I can certainly attest to the whole parasocial thing being so much easier that way. So, C-Day, yeah. I was watching him since 2013. Like, when he was still producing the Herobrine Survival videos, the original season. So, I think the only thing left to do really is to just double check the legs. So I think the head movement is acceptable now. So all I really need to do is, I've watched him since 2018. Yeah, that seems to be roughly around the time. It's like either, so what's this for? It's for a animation assignment. So I'm just doing walk cycles at this point. I'm learning animation so I can finally produce my own stuff as opposed to just watching it on YouTube all the time. So I want this leg to swing inwards. Fair enough? Yeah. Like, I see so much cool stuff being animated on YouTube, and then I want to do it myself, and I realize I need to actually upskill in order to do that. So, go 6, and then... I want the location of this one to not be affected. So, yeah. When he moves his leg, it swings inwards before swinging back outwards. And then the low position seems about right. Yeah, that should be good. Copy that. M. Okay, yeah. Just making sure I've got all these. Copy that. And yet, for some reason, one of these is not... Why is that not showing? Did this not get keyframed the entire time? That's a bit silly. Alright, let's fix that then. And then... Oh, Control-Z, Control-Shift-M, and then Control-Shift-B. Actually, I'll just remove all these first, because sometimes there can be junk keyframes in between, and it certainly messes around with stuff. D 24. That minus 12. This is so much easier when you don't have to animate the movement at the same time. So now this should be, yeah, swing the legs inward. So the legs swing inward, and then I probably want to rotate the foot along the Z-axis to give just a little bit of splay to the feet. So let's have a quick look here. So this is a really specific bit of information for whenever you're doing walk cycles, is always the feet. Because you look at the motion... Okay, cool, I can increase the size of this. So whenever you lift your foot up, by default it's going to be sort of pointed outwards, but not really. But the second you lift your foot up, it immediately spins around like several more degrees, and it stays in that position until you put your foot in the position to go into contact again. So around about here, which is for all intents and purposes the high position of the movement, so roughly around about here is the high position, and you're already starting to turn your foot back towards being relatively straight before putting your foot back down again. But there's always that slight bend there. So it's time to replicate that. So is this... Yeah, okay, so this is the starting side. This will make my life so much easier. I'm going to use the foot spin here. So... I'm going to say probably around about 5 degrees for this one. Actually, you know what? No, the foot spin's not going to be the right decision here. It's going to be rotating this foot in the actual direction. So that is spun to 5 degrees by default. Also, is that... That's not straight, is it? No, it really isn't, huh? But it's so small that you wouldn't even notice, so I don't know what the deal with that is. regardless, the scale can get gone, and it's actually the Z rotation that I want. Okay, so copy that. Control Shift. Actually, no. Just duplicate this one. And now that should stay in roughly a similar position. In fact, I might even give this a small detail where it decreases the angle just very slightly. And then when it pops off the ground, and that's going to stay at 3 degrees. And then when it pops off the ground, it needs to say -15. And then this can go. Copy that and then paste it here. In fact, I think this might even need to be further than 15 degrees. 25's too much though, probably 20? In fact, I wouldn't even go as far to say as maybe I'm pushing this too far. What about -10? And maybe the movement inwards here might be a bit too much as well. Let's push this to, like, say, -0.04. Yeah, I think that's a lot cleaner. So now if I grab all of these, grab all the information, and then just paste it over to the other side, should be relatively close. I think, maybe the rotation on this here is maybe what's messing me up. Maybe the rotation does need to come from the foot, like from the spin control here. And certainly give it a try. So, set this back to 0. So, duplicate that. And get rid of these. Alright, let's give this a try this time around. It's strange, because I want the foot to be rotated, but the way that this works is messing with my head just a tiny bit. Let's give it a try though. So copy that. Control Shift B. Actually no. I just want the rotation this way. Why is this being so weird? So Shift D, move that to the end. And then I can get rid of these ones. And then on the contact, I want this to be -3. Every time I have to deal with these stupid scale things. Duplicate that to low. And when I pass it here, say 15 degrees. Actually, maybe less than that. But if I don't give it enough, it's not going to look right. Okay, that should be fine enough. So, copy this. And control should be 50, 24, 12, and grab all that information out of there. Okay, so I probably need to mess about with some curves to get this foot working correctly. Because the problem is that the foot rotates from the heel almost. And looking back at this again, you can see that the foot rotates out from the ankle and not the ankle itself rotating. So that could be a slight issue. Can I rotate? I can rotate the heel itself, but I can't get the top of the foot to follow it. Pesky. And then this just sort of does what it likes. It's like rotating the both of them seems to do what I ask of it, but at the same time it just acts so strange. I could set this... I might actually just set it back to what I had it as before, because it's clear that the foot IK, like the rotational, is just not working out the way that I intended for it to. Okay, just get rid of those. And make sure that these are set to 0 degrees, otherwise it's going to cause problems later. Zero. Okay, this. Oh well, sometimes you just have to trial and error stuff until you can find what it is you're looking for. I guess I will be working with the foot IKs after all. So I want to set this to -5. And then I want to set this to -3. Actually, maybe setting this to -5 might be a better idea. Just delete the Z rotation here. Okay, that to the low position. And then on the pass, I want this to be say -12. And then duplicate this and set it back to here. I certainly need to do something about this leg movement because I feel like it moves too quickly. Out to 8. So, yeah, that is correct. Copy that. And that. That stuff. Except somehow I've managed to mess it up, I think. How have I managed this? So Shift D, 24. So by all rights, this should be working the way that I wanted it to. But for whatever reason, it doesn't want to. What have I done wrong here? So... Oh, is it because I didn't remove the keyframes off this thing? Okay, yeah, that will definitely do it. And this is why you shouldn't have multiple things control the same one most times, because you do get a little bit confused. So, copy that. Let's try that again without the stupid, shall we? Or... I was wondering why it wasn't working correctly. Okay, now something else weird is going on. What could that possibly be? It's not the rotation on that. I should be going to bed now. I've been here for the past 2 hours. Alright, you have a good night then, Diamond. So that's supposed to be 5. So why is that? Yeah. I mean, good night. Yeah. I got the idea. Don't worry. Goodness knows autocorrect has messed me up too. More times than I care to admit. You know, I should probably be heading out shortly too. I've still got to feed my dog. Just double check this animation first. I think it's okay. I might have to do a little bit of messing about off stream, but it certainly could be worse. Anyway, it's time for me to head out. I've still got to feed my dog and whatnot. Twitch side, do I have anyone for you to pester? Not tonight. Everyone is offline except for me. Anyway, tomorrow I think I'll probably just work on this just a little bit more. Otherwise, I might be chilling doing something else. And then next week I'm going back to the Sly Cooper scene that I was doing before. Can't believe it's been like good stream, thanks. Can't believe it's been like 3 weeks. Like, this would be the 3rd week that I've been doing that particular project. Anyway, I shall see y'all tomorrow.